Okay, guys, so now we're gonna go into this next example. So remember the denominator n is the root and the numerator m is the exponent. So let's go ahead and practice with these. We're gonna simplify these expressions. So again, the root is the bottom number, and the top is your exponent. So here I go. I'm gonna keep my x value as my base. I'm going to put a little 3 outside of my root house, and then I'm going to raise this to the second power. Okay, that's easy. Now this one is a little bit tricky, but no worries because we can do this, okay? What I like to do is to factor out what I can and work with pieces at a time, then put it back together. So this is, in other words, saying 6 times y raised to the 1/2 times y raised to the 1/2. See, then that helps me know that the 1/2 in this term right here did not belong to the 6. It belonged to the y only. So now that I have kind of chunked it, I'm going to work with the pieces that I can and then piece it all back together. So when we have a product of powers, we can add our exponents. So I'm going to, and then you're probably wondering why. It's because these two terms have the same base. And when you have the same base, then you can just add the exponents together to simplify and condense it and put it together all in one. So I'm going to keep the same y value. And I'm going to add 1/2 plus 1/2. Okay, naturally, because I'm pretty confident and comfortable with my fractions, I could do this in my head. I know that that's equivalent to 1. But if you're not very comfortable with working with fractions, you can always use your calculator. So you get here, okay? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna type in 1/2 plus 1/2. So what I like about this calculator is that there is a button here, and I'm going to show you. There's a special button here that helps you input a fraction. It's right next to the 9. As you can see, it has a square over a square. When I click this, when I press on that, it gives me this list. And this list, as you can see, has a lot of things that I could choose from, but what I'm looking for is a fraction. So as you can see here, I'm gonna enter this fraction right here. So I'm gonna enter that, and as you can see, it has put into my calculator a fraction. So I'm gonna put 1/2 plus. Now in order to do the plus, I need to move my cursor over to where I'm outside of the fraction. See, I'm out of it. I'm gonna put plus. And then I'm going to press this button one more time to input that fraction. And here I have it. I enter that. I put 1/2 again. And I have set it up. I'm going to press enter. And as you can see, I get my value of 1. So y is equal to, y is raised to 1, and then I can also rewrite this as just y. Okay? Now let's go ahead and go into this next example, okay? Now this example does require for you to distribute. So I'm gonna chunk it. I'm gonna factor out my 81 times x raised to the 6. And this 1/2 I have to distribute to all of my pieces. So I'm gonna distribute to this and distribute to that. So 81 raised to the 1/2 times x raised to the 6. Okay? Now I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to do a square root this time because the root is 2 and the exponent is 1. Square root of 81 raised to the 1 times x raised to the 6 raised to the 1/2. Uh-oh. Okay. X raised to the 6 raised to the 1/2. I'm going to follow the same rules that I've learned. And I'm going to multiply these because when I have a power of a power, we multiply our exponents. So 6 times 1/2. If you can't do this in your head, you can use a calculator. I can do it in my head, so it's equal to 3. But if you want to know, similar to what we did before, I'm going to click, or I'm going to press on this button here again. And it gives me my list. I'm going to choose a fraction. And it's 6. I like to put 6 over 1. But you can start off as a whole number 6. It'll still do the same thing. Times 1/2. And then I get it equal to 3. Okay. So then the square root of 81 times x, raised to the 3. Now I need to find the square root of 81. So again, Control, I'm going to press this yellow button, Control, and press this one with the square root. And I'm going to put 81. And when I press enter, it gives me 9. So my final answer is 9x raised to the 3. Okay, so the first step was to kind of factor it out. Now I had to distribute the 1/2. I distributed it. I had to multiply the 6 and the half. I got 3. I had to do the square root of 81 raised to the 1. 81 and a half, right? This meant to do the square root of 81 raised to the 1. And when I put this into the calculator, it equaled 9x raised to the 3, right? Alrighty then.